What does mental health mean to you?
Mental health is more important than physical health because your mind will take you where your body doesn't think you can go.
What would your brother think about you right now in this moment?
That's a crazy question. Like half an hour later, some guys came and took him in a van and that was that. We had no answers for 2 whole years.
Wow.
Don't get tricked out of your own spot. Their sole goal is to make sure you don't achieve what God wants you to achieve because they've already given up on themselves. What we're missing nowadays is the kids that are okay being superheroes without capes. So our slogan is, there's no good without the bad. And it really was just, there's no him without me. I took something that he started and blew it to a point where he would have wanted it to go. And now we're doing more and more, we're changing lives. Good times make weak men, and times of war make strong men.
What's going on, world? Welcome back to Creative Connect, where we connect creatives together. And my name is Dwayne Holness. And I know you guys have been watching all the other episodes, and I hope you guys have been taking notes and grabbing the gems, because I'm sitting down with people who have put themselves out there on stage. And sometimes it can be hard. So today, I have a special guest. I know I always say I got a special guest, but every special guest is special. That's just it. I connect the dots, and I only connect with good people. And that is what's most important. So the people that you're going to be hearing today and throughout the whole series are good people. So today, I want to introduce you to someone that I've met for the first time. I'm actually meeting this person for the first time today. I've been seeing him doing his thing, and it's something that I admire. And as people, we should be able to give people their flowers from a distance or from afar. So today, I got someone very close right now to me, and I'm going to get to dive into who he really is. My man, Omar.
Man, you are like the intro of introductions. I don't know what to say. I'm gonna say, first of all, thank you for coming to my space.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I want to tell you is to give you your flowers. But I will say I did my homework before I let you come into my space.
Okay, talk about it.
I gotta protect my energy and stuff. And you come very, very recommended from people from the streets to the corporate world. Everybody I spoke to, and there's about 10 people, mentioned you are an amazing person. So forget the people you interview. You are a good person, because the people I spoke to were definitely nothing but good things. Everybody said you have to get him ASAP before he turns into this big podcast person. So that's when I reached back out and I said, yeah, let's make it happen. So I think the important thing to start off with is you got protect your name is everything, because 10 people might sound like a small number, but 10 people know 1,000 people. Now we're talking big numbers, right? So you're only allowed here if you got vetted. You got vetted very well.
I got vetted. You know what I'm saying?
You got vetted very well. So thank you for coming. Thank you for having me on this, because sometimes as creators, we sit in our spaces and think we're not doing enough and we're not being seen.
Right.
So it's very like God sent and humbling. Even the time when you messaged me, I was having a rough day, and I thought, why am I doing this? That thought comes up a lot, trust me. And I'm sure a lot of creatives have the same thought. Like, is it worth it? Should I just get the job and call it a day?
Hey, I was going through that just the other day, so I feel it.
Yeah, so when you message me, I take those signs very, very seriously. And I was humbled, and I was like, you know what? Okay, we're still doing the right thing. So it's little things like that that just keep you pushing. So I'm excited to have you here today. I'm excited to get to know you. I'm excited to explain who I am, and hopefully all the viewers can kind of love this episode and relate to it. So yeah.
Well, Omar, hey, brother, we're doing the great work.
We're locked in now.
Come on, we're locked in. So so now, like, I don't know you, so I'm about to dive in.
Yeah.
So the first thing, introduce yourself to people.
So it's funny you say that. And there's so much we gotta talk about. We gotta keep congested so they're not waiting around for like 3-hour story. But a lot of people know me as Omar. A lot of people know me as Wolf. A lot of people know me as Sergeant Allison. And a lot of people know me as a bike rider. There's so many things that I do right now, and I like that way. I don't like to sleep much. Sleep is where you start letting your mind wander and start having nightmares, and I don't really like that. But for now, I want everyone to know my name is Omar. I went by Wolf. I still go by Wolf, and there's personal reasons why I like prefer Wolf. But now that I'm getting back to this sense of balance in my life, I'm getting back to who I always wanted to be as a person.
Mm,
Life throws some things at you, and you try to recreate yourself. But I've found myself again, and I didn't like being Omar for a while. I wanted to just be Wolf, and we'll get into why. But I'm getting comfortable again. I'm finding back that I love being Omar. Omar's a
love
cool
that,
guy. You know what I'm
man,
saying?
bro.
So. My name is Omar. I do love Wolf still. It has a ring to it. And from my professional standpoint, Sergeant Allison just has a kicker as well. So,
Yo, I need to get a Sergeant Dukes. What's going on right now?
yeah. So it has a kicker. So basically, I'm the owner of Hybrid Garbs, and I say the owner because I never started the brand. My twin brother Jamar started the brand. I'm also the owner of A Creator's World, which is the space we are in today. A Creator's World is a printing, embroidery, and marketing company. So by default, Hybrid Garbs would be a customer of A Creator's World. I happen to own both. And I'm the founder of Mental Balance. So Mental Balance is my nonprofit organization about men's mental health. But with men's mental health, you need to dive into everyone's mental health because
Right.
men are definitely affected by women and women are affected by men. So everybody has to be at the table when we talk about men's mental health, particularly Black men.
Yes.
My focus right now is Black youth. It's a lot easier to build a strong man than it is to build a strong boy than it is to heal a broken man. So I really, really want to get there early before they get wrapped up into this social media race of what's cool and what's not cool and things like that. So I go to schools. A lot of people ask me if I'm a teacher. I'm not a teacher. However, they have convinced me to go to Teachers College and get it done. So this is the first anyone's hearing it. I'm gonna go to Teachers College and just to say I have it done. Like, why not go to Teachers College? And the nice thing is when you're learning and you don't have to learn. Like, it's not like I don't have a job. I have a great job with the Army, so it's gonna be a lot more fun to go back to school and be there because I want to be there. And then if I can teach, I probably will go abroad and teach for a bit. I love traveling, and then come back and gain more perspective with the kids here. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a lot, and we'll get into how it came to this point.
I love that. I love that. It's amazing that you're wearing different hats. I always like to peel back the layers and understand what makes Omar Omar. Where did it all start? What was happening as a kid that gave you that sense of direction? Or even like what I would say is like what did what was that creative moment when you were young? What did it look like?
You know what? Like I was mentioning to you before, this person that people see today was not someone that I thought would be here. Growing up, I played soccer. I wanted to be a soccer player. Obviously, I didn't turn out to be Ronaldo or Messi like we're talking right now. And I was just happy. I loved video games, loved playing video games. My brother was more the athlete, more the outside guy, and I just wanted to play video games. I'm very much so I was just a happy person. And people knew like when it came to the seriousness of who's who, my brother was the serious one, and I was just happy. And people be like, this is goofy Omar, right? And I liked it. It was fun. And the creative spot didn't get to me till I was like in my late 20s because my parents in their Jamaican mentality got to me early. Like, you got to go to school, you got to get a good job, you got to get benefits, and you got to die. Like, that's the way life works. So when my brother decided to start the brand, we were there on him like, you about to be broke. And honestly, I was a bad friend and a bad brother because any of my friends that wanted to be, rappers, athletes, or anything like that, I would put and now we look at it, my insecurities, my fears of not making, I would push that on them. Like, yo, you can't be an athlete, you can't be a rapper. Like, nobody can make it. And you start to see now when I look back, I'm like, dang, I was a terrible friend to a lot of people who had dreams. I would just say, no, it can't work. And that's just because of the culture we're from. So I remember growing up now, I mean, I was born in Rexdale. I left Rexdale young, like I think grade 6 or something like that, and moved to Brampton. So I would say I'm a pill baby, really. Did the Brampton thing, went to high school at St. Margaret DeVille, played soccer there, and growing up a twin, and so I think I forgot to mention that, but yeah, my brother is my twin brother. So growing up a twin's tough. It was fun, but it's tough. You get compared all the time. Who's bigger? Who's better? Who's better looking?
So then you felt like you always had to compete?
Always, every day. Who's the cool and who's not? And like people will say like you're a good youth. That's disrespectful to us sometimes. Like you don't you're a
Yeah,
good youth.
yeah.
And I was always the good youth, and I was tired of being the good youth, bro. Like I want to be a bad man too.
Yeah, I
Like,
want
you
to be
know
a
what I'm saying? I
it's
want to
a
be a
bad
bad
man
man.
thing,
Yeah, yeah. So like for a bit, you're just identity crisis. You're like
Yeah.
you're just twins, and then whoever's a cooler twin kind of wins that race. And when he went away to school in the States first, and I'll never forget. He came back and he's a little bigger now. He a little bigger. He got tattoos on him, and now I'm definitely a good youth. So I'm pissed. I'm pissed. Like I went to Sheridan College first at high school, and man, this guy came back with tattoos and big, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. Now we're not even twins. It's like, yo, that's Omar, that's Jamar. I'm like,
Yeah, it's two
yo,
different people
damn.
now.
So I went to school in New York, and I got bigger too, but he was getting bigger as well. So it's still a catch up. It was never enough, and never enough. And it wasn't until I left New York. I wasn't that responsible to stay at school in the States, and I actually moved to Sudbury. So I went to Sudbury for a few reasons. I knew if I went to U of T or Ryerson or those places, I wouldn't focus. Living at home and that stuff wouldn't happen. And also my grades suck, so I wouldn't even have a choice. Like I was
Yeah.
going to Laurentian. They didn't have it's funny, we talk about school back in the days. Certain schools didn't have like turnitin.com. But I knew the schools that didn't, I knew the schools that didn't. So going to Laurentian was like, they didn't have turnitin.com. So
You're just trying to hustle your way through
I
school.
was just trying to get through school, man, and just get it done. Like
Yeah.
I didn't really school was cool, but I wasn't really. I was there to play soccer.
Yeah.
So at that moment in my life, I wasn't there for school. I have a whole BA in law and justice. Like I have a whole degree, and I'm very interested in law, but I didn't really care for school. It wasn't until later that I really started to appreciate learning and reading and stuff like that.
So at what age did soccer kick in for you?
It kicked in late too. You know, it was like I think we started playing at near grade 7, which is late. Like that's all the other guys were playing from young, but my parents didn't know like where to put us in or what team to go for or anything like that. So it wasn't until we moved to Brampton in like 3 years when we were there that we started playing, but we accelerated super quick. Like if it's like they have like A, B, C teams, C being the worst. We went from like house league to A, like in
we meaning you and your brother.
Really, I went for a bit.
And you guys, and the thing is that I see that I'm understanding is that being a twin, regardless, that's why you excel. You guys excel because you guys are outpacing.
Yeah. It's a must. It's a must, and it's crazy because it wasn't till like we kept switching who was better. When we first started, I was better at soccer. He got better, and then I got better, and then he ended up getting cut from a team that I made, which is diabolical on the coach's part, really. Like, kind of like the parent looking at the parents like, yo, one of these kids ain't making it. Like, who you gonna tell? Is actually crazy in hindsight when you're thinking about it now. So he ended up getting cut, but he was a real athlete because he got cut from that team. We were the best team in province at the time on paper. I'll say on paper because we really didn't amount to what we should have. And then he went to another team in Mississauga and came back and beat us and the second best team with just him and a bunch of white guys. So he really like.
So you played against your brother?
Yeah. We were in Ontario Cup semifinals. My dad was just on the side like, yo, figure this out. He was. I know deep down inside he was cheering for him.
Yeah.
He was the underdog. Like his team was the underdog team. So my dad was okay with them winning because it would mean that he really won it for his team. So they beat us, and from there was no looking back. Like he became better than all of us. He moved to Thailand to play professional soccer.
Wow.
Stayed there for a bit. He said if he didn't have his daughter, he would have stayed there and never came back. So he really did his thing. And by that time, I'm winding down soccer. Like I'm about to graduate. I'm not going anywhere. I'm tired of trying. So I did some crazy stuff. And then I said, yo, let me join the army. And I joined the army at that point because of toxic masculinity. Now that I know, I felt like the ultimate man was a soldier. All the movies we're watching and all these stuff, the ultimate strong guys are soldiers. And again, this is the wanting to be the baddest guy or the coolest, toughest guy. You know, I joined the army thinking if I put on that uniform, I can be that person.
Yeah.
Now that we're older, we're just like, you gotta be this person without the uniform or the gang colors or anything. That if you're that person, you're that person. What you put on can't really make you that. So years went by, and I've been in the army now for like 10 years.
Wow. So before you said you got this creative sprout, where were you headed?
I think I was just working. I was just working job to job, but I ended up working at FedEx. And I like talking to people. I like meeting people. So I was driving the truck delivering packages.
Okay, man, you're a delivery man's out here.
It was so fun. I'm in there playing music. I even went on Instagram a couple times, like song of the day, delivering packages.
Okay.
And you get to know the receptionist. He's like, hey, Omar, hey, there's a package, and you're kind of flirting. It's just I felt good going to work, and I had no inclination to be more than that. I was
Yeah.
actually like, I can be manager of this spot. I can move up. And this is how God works. It's crazy. Because
Mhm.
when I started working at FedEx, I had a manager. His name was Terrence, if you guys want to look him up. So
Shout out to Terrence.
I mean, shout out to Terrence for now. You'll see
For now.
for now. Terrence hit me up like, yo, let's dang, he could probably get fired for this. But anyways, Terrence hit me up like, yo, you know, me and you are black. We can make sure this works out. So I'm thinking Terrence got my back. And then Terrence promised me this route. He's like, you're gonna be permanent on this route. And time passed by, maybe like 2-3 months. But no, sorry, 2.5 months. But probation, I forgot, is 3 months. So I'm pressuring Terrence like, yo, you promised me some stuff. Where's that route at? He gave it to somebody else, and I just lost him. Like, Terrence, you promised me this route. I'm gonna go tell the manager, you didn't give me the route. You said we're black, we're supposed to stay together. Yeah, the man fired me next day.
Yeah,
Next day was my
right.
birthday, and he could do without cause because I was still on probation. I learned very quickly about that industry, that world of, you know, cutthroat. But it was God, because I tell you right now, if I hadn't got fired,
You'd still be there.
none of this would have happened.
Wow.
Because I would still be at FedEx because I liked the job.
Shout out to Terrence.
Yo, Terrence, this is what I'm saying.
Come
like,
on, man.
blessings in this. Now, I don't even get mad at people now. When things happen or like doors close, I just believe I'm not very religious, but I believe in God 100%. And I feel like doors close on his time. And you won't see it till maybe years later.
Right.
I didn't know. I was at FedEx almost 6 years ago. So you don't see it then, but it'll show itself eventually. And I'm just so in that faith where things don't really faze me. I'll get mad at myself in my head, but so yeah, people are like, why are you so calm? Bro, something about to happen. Because there's no way my God would forsake me like that.
Where did that mental toughness come from? Like what did you see what did you see to give you that? Like,
so, I guess now we got to like unpack the story.
Yeah.
So remember, I'm in the Army now. It's been about 2-3 years. My brother's pushing hybrid Garbs. He's loving the brand. I'm not believing in it still. The only time I really believed in it was when Social Proof came about. Like, he took me to LA once, and we were in a booth beside Young and May. And like, he was like, yo, like, we can get a t-shirt stuff. We were with these two dancers called Lay Twins, these dancers from France. And I was like starting to believe in it. So, but then I had to go away again to France with the Army. So I went away. He built the brand up a little bit more. And then I came back, and all of a sudden, it's bigger than I left it. So we go out to a restaurant to eat. I'll never forget this. So it was June 1st. We go to restaurant Rex to eat because the hood is still where the good food is at. So you're gonna go there. You know, you gotta go to the hood to get good food. So I go there. We meet for a bit. We're there for maybe about 3 hours, and he was trying to convince me to like take time off the Army, just believe in what we're doing. It can work. Take pictures with us and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, this could work a little bit. But I had work that night, and I was working security at Spice Route on King Street. Back when King Street used to have clubs. Now I don't know what's going on.
You're doing security too?
Yeah. I was doing security. Just my boy Chris owns a security company.
Okay.
And I was just doing favors. It was nice, you know. Work daytime, make a little $100 at night. Yeah. And at that time in the winter, people are paying line bypass to security.
They got a little extra change.
You know, you got a little extra change. You're coming home with like $500 for the night. Yeah. So it's a good little incentive. So I remember telling him, yo, I got work at 9 p.m. And it was like 8:45. And I rode my motorcycle there, and he had just sold his. So he's like, yo, let me ride the bike around the parking lot a little bit. I want to impress some girls and stuff. So I was like, okay, cool, but I got to go. The man's riding around, and now I see the time. And I'm just going like this because we be getting into real fights in public, him and I, like fist fights. But he's still bigger than me. Yeah. So I'm going like this so that I don't kind of make it embarrassing to him because I know he'll just snap. I'm going like this, and the man was just disrespecting my time. So I ended up pushing him off the bike, forgetting it's my bike. Bike drops, it scratches, I'm pissed. And then I remember telling him, like, yo, this is why I hate you. Like, this is why we can't get along because you don't respect my time. You think it's just what you're trying to do, the hybrid stuff, and not what I'm trying to do. And bro, that was the last words I've ever said to him in my life because I left on my motorcycle, and then like half an hour later, some guys came and took him in a van, and that was that. So long story short, he got into, you know, the streets and stuff, and, you know, certain things happened, and certain things had to happen after that, and people can control their emotions, and it ended up being how it was. So, but him passing, so he's abducted June 1st, 2018. Now, it wasn't like, let's say he were killed that point right there and then, I would have been able to move along very well because I had already seen so many people die. And, you know, I will say this, you know, you play certain games, you have to understand the consequences or the possibilities associated with such games. So in the streets, we all know, yo, bro, this is nice, but this could happen as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not very like sympathetic per se to certain decisions that you make that come with certain consequences. I ride motorcycles, we do wheelies, we ride at 200, per hour in Mexico, not in Canada. Um, but if something happens, I fall off the bike. I don't want no one really to be like sad I was riding the bike. I made a decision. I pushed the key
Mm-hmm.
in, and I was the one throttling that, and I knew what I was doing. So anything associated with your actions, you have to understand the negative stuff that comes with that, and you almost sign that dotted line. So when things happen, don't be like looking around like people are supposed to feel sorry for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't the issue. The issue is we had no answers for 2 whole years.
Wow.
That was where things got crazy. So for 2 years,
How did that like I can only
abducted.
imagine how that feel, like every day, what was that feeling that you were
For the
getting?
first year, I was super delusional. I swear, people were making up stories like, "Yeah, he's probably hiding out, probably this, he probably set up himself." And I'm hoping they're right. Yeah, he
Yeah.
probably. I'm pissed, but I'm like, "Yo, yeah, maybe he is hiding out. Maybe he, made it up, or they created that for themselves to get away from someone or the police or whatever." And that's when I started working on hybrid garbs. I
Yeah.
started like, okay, you know what? If I work on the brand, when he comes back, he'll have something. So I was more like, let me do this for him when he gets back. So that year, 2019, it took off like through the roof because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it all happened to kind of shut down in October because my birthday's in October, which is very soon. Um, whoever was in charge of the cake, remember, I've been a twin for like how long? 25 years.
Yeah.
That cake comes out, it usually has 2 names on it.
Right.
This damn cake came out with 1 name, and that's when I was like, yeah, this is it. It kind of started to sink in, snot nose crying. I never cried in public till that day.
Mm.
And then that's when we talk about the mental health part of it, because your mind is driving yourself insane. And I don't know if everyone remembers this, but for the people in Toronto, 2018 was really the kickstart of a lot of foolishness, because don't call me, it's either that year or the next year, but Smoke Dogg died around that
Yeah, I
time.
remember that.
Now, when Smoke Dogg was killed, if you really want to trace everything back to how we got to this point in Toronto politics on the road, it was really that situation that really had us on a wave. And the only thing about Black community sex is trauma bonding. So I'm watching the news, I'm seeing all this. I'm seeing, his brothers, and I'm seeing his family react. I'm seeing people on Instagram dissing him and stuff, and it's bringing me to a place where I'm now reminded about what I went through. And then every year after that, there was something. Then you throw Nipsey and Kobe in there.
Right.
It is your mind's beating you up. And I was getting beat up because
Wow, you still don't even know where he is.
don't even know.
Wow.
And then Instagram is a great place, and it's a terrible place, because then you got people that would never speak such things to my face, but you got fake accounts. I went to Jamaica to kind of like run away from stuff, bro. I got to get out of here. And I was on the beach, and I'll never forget, took a picture, and someone commented like, yo, while your toes are out on the sand, your brother's probably in a box, like waiting for you to find some reckless stuff. And it became even harder to not just fight my own thoughts, but bro, I wanted to kill people. I wanted to really hurt everybody. I was getting into fights that we didn't need to be fighting about. These are simple conversations that we could talk about, but I wasn't who I was anymore. I was always angry. I couldn't play soccer. I couldn't work in the army because, live ammunitions and stuff. Everything just started to go downhill from there. And it wasn't until I went to this group session where this young boy spoke, and he spoke about losing his brother, and he cried on the stage. And then I realized, like, yo, I'm not the only one. And, my mind convinced me for a while, nobody understood what I was going through. But that situation reminded me, like, so many more people are actually living this reality than we think. Not so much of someone being abducted or something like that. My story is kind of crazy nonetheless.
Yeah.
But losing someone is still losing someone, no matter which way you want to look at it. And so many of us, like us Black men, us the Black boys, suffer from that early. Like, and I was 25, so I was lucky that happened. Not lucky, but if that happens to me younger, I would not be this person. Obviously, at 25, I've been in the army at that point for 3-4 years. I had a little training to prepare me for that. And this is why I say it's so funny how God works, because He knew that I needed to be a soldier.
That mental toughness
to get, because all of our debts are already written in stone, in my opinion. Like, God already knows when it's our time to go. So He knew, okay, this is gonna happen this time, but I gotta build up Omar to be able to take that when it happens. So when people are looking at me like, yo, I don't know how you do it, I'm like, fam, I was prepared. Like, God built me to be this point. And trust me, I cry like every 2 days, but now my cries are intentional. Like, if I feel overwhelmed, I'll purposely go take a second and cry, because then I don't want to give you that energy. You know, you come in the shop, you're trying to work, where someone else comes in and I'm mad, not I gave you that poor customer service or that poor energy. So my days are very tactically planned. I'm very much in tune with my emotions. I'm very like if I see anything off, I'll step away because then your mind will tell you some things, and now we're getting into fights that we don't need to.
Yeah.
Now you're hearing he's not the best person to interview or stuff like that, right?
Right.
So that's how I got the mental fortitude, bro. It's 2 years of hell, and you have to also be in mind, it wasn't just that. We went through 2018 and then COVID next year. So COVID now
everybody
changes
lock up.
every lockup in the house. It was hell on earth. COVID wrapping us inside. Like remember, my parents lost not their firstborn son, and then their second son happens to look like their firstborn. And also,
so they're always reminded of him.
yeah, and they're also not in this. They're also not outside, so they're trying to piece together what happened. So they're asking me a bunch of questions. I'm trying to piece together what happened because I really didn't really know nothing. Like, to say I didn't know he was involved in stuff, that's a lie. Like, of course I knew he was involved in stuff. That's my
Right.
twin. But when it comes to the issues, he did a good job keeping that away from us. So I really didn't know much. So now I'm going outside. I'm messing with people that like me personally I wouldn't have messed with. I wouldn't have spoken to. I wouldn't have had altercations with. But now I need answers. So I'm getting involved with people that probably could have taken off my head if I wasn't careful. And it was just a terrible time. But looking back on it now, I needed all that perspective because there's some police officers that will speak very highly of me, and there's some that will be like, no, this guy's a dickhead. And it's just they met me at the wrong time.
Right.
Pulled me over on a day where I was super sad and in my head, and it's like, yo, get out of here, And then other days it's like, here's my license, and I didn't do anything or whatever. But to get to this point was hell, and that's why I'm happy you asked that question. A lot of people will see the end result.
Yes.
And we as creatives also do a poor job a little bit explaining how we got to this end result, or showing that process. That's what I'm trying to do, but it's also hard because I'm not the guy. I have my mental health page, and a lot of people are like, you should post on it more. You should show what's really going on. But I feel like if you're really sad, the last thing you're going to do is put a camera in front of yourself
Yes.
and say, yeah, I'm just letting you guys know today that it's a bad day. And I'm not knocking anybody that does that. I just can't, like, I be really going through it. So I'm telling you, the last thing I have in my mind is letting you guys know I'm really going through it by recording. I think it's...
And on top of it too, there are, especially like your parents too, just thinking about everything. Like there are people that are relying on your strength.
1,000%. Like you don't even realize the people you affect. Like my dad was like, and he's like the strongest person to me, but I'll never forget. He works at FedEx. His FedEx is better than the FedEx I was working at.
Coincidence.
Yeah, he works at FedEx. His FedEx was better. But I'll never forget. He goes to work at like 1 a.m, and bro, I would hear the man sniffling and just like getting out of the house. You know that he was just crying on the way to work, just going through it. And where my brother's buried right now, people will say like, yo, I saw your dad there. Like, and he was just sitting with his hands in his, his head in his hands. So I tried never to be sad around the man.
Yeah.
I tried never to be like emotional on the guy because I don't want him to get in his emotions. Even my mom and my sister. So anytime they ask, I'll have the worst day and I'll come, hey guys, what's going on? Because I just don't want them to ever think about that via me. Obviously, they're going to think about their son on their own time, but I just don't want them to look at me and be like, oh, he's sad because this, that. And that's also why I don't post much of that on Instagram because it's a public platform.
Right.
I don't want them to see that. I don't want my sisters to see that. It's just, I'm sad. I'll do this myself. And then there's times where I'll explain it, but not in the sad manner. Like, I'll just have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
So I have a little issue with, the world of crying and stuff on Instagram planned because, again, in my opinion, if you're really going through it, like you're
going through it.
Borderline suicidal. You're not setting up cameras and doing that stuff. So,
fair enough, man. I think there's a time and a place for that, and you found it, especially when you are putting yourself out in the public. Bro, someone sending me putting a comment on my thing about sand and this.
Yo.
Come on.
Yeah. And I've been lucky to, like, people do really mess with me. So I don't really have beef with people in real like that. Like, and if I do right now, you're watching this, you're beefing yourself because I don't have beef with you. But also, I've always been really good at problem solving and like clearing up misunderstandings. So I don't want that energy following me. And also, fake accounts are gonna do what fake accounts do. So I couldn't really stress if someone came to me live and direct and I had a face to it, we might be in a different spot. But it was never really directed to me in full sense, and I'm very much so say with your chest, and if you don't, it's not for me. But I'm also like I've embodied, and this is where like the wolf part comes in. So when my brother first went missing, and luckily enough, we all have, most of us have. If you don't have an Apple technology by now, I don't know what you're doing.
If you're Android, you might
Yeah,
have to turn this off.
yeah. Oh, if we lost you for Android, but Apple it shares. So when my brother went missing, we had his laptop. So
Okay.
we still saw some of the texts. I was trying to go through to piece together some stuff, but more importantly, when it came to hybrid Garbs, he had notes in his on his thing. So it was easy. A lot of the stuff people see me come out today is actually not me.
Wow.
It's still him that I'm just like fulfilling everything that he's.
So do you feel like you continued this primarily is
I
because
only did it because of him. And to this day, I'll drop this shit tomorrow if it wasn't for him. Because clothing, I'd say everybody that comes into creators world and wants to start a clothing brand, I always walk into, yo, this is not what you think it is. Like clothing brand is one of the hardest things to map out simply because of financials. Like it costs a lot to take a risk. Like you're spending, like if you want to create like a bomber jacket and a quality one, it's gonna cost you like minimum $40 per jacket cost.
and there's a minimum too.
And then your minimum quantity order.
Right.
So
Yeah.
40 times 100 is $4,000
Off the
off
bat.
the bat. And that's if the jacket sells you do well. If it doesn't, you're out $4,000. And a lot
Yeah.
of people don't have $4,000 to play it like that. And I'm talking about off of your hard work to 9 to 5 money
Right.
if you're doing that, right? That's not a game you really want to take the risk too much with. Some people try to go the cheap route with made to order. You'll lose customers. So it's just a whole bag. I would, if it wasn't for my brother, buddy, that some of the things we've been hit with, like we lost, I think $6,000 the other day working on our tights. Like it was like, you just sit there like, yeah, God, I don't want to be a tough soldier this year. Hey,
Yeah.
just give me regular people's jobs. So I definitely every year we always have to talk about if this is the end of it, and the only thing that keeps going is him, and that's the only reason why I got creative, anyways. Because if it was me, I would be wearing joggers and army stuff 24/7 and be a soldier. I wouldn't have been
Yeah.
creative like that. So wow, it all came from that situation. Now the how Creators World started, it was off impulse. I got emotional one day. The people them that were doing the clothes messed up. I ended up buying the embroidery machine. And then started making our own clothes. We got through all the orders, and the machine was just sitting there. And I'm like, I'm financing this thing, so I might as well start doing other people's stuff. And then it just from there, God just took the wheel. We just took it over, and that was something.
You and your brother now sort of share this legacy that you guys are building. What would you say your why is right now?
So, like I was saying before with the iPhone situation, the notes. I looked in his notes, and yeah, he had a lot of plans for the brand, which is great. Gave me a setup. I don't really do much. All that we created to this day is still him creating stuff, and I haven't had to think for myself yet for the creative part. So I do want to make mention of that. I know a lot of people are like, hybrids is doing well. It's great ideas you're coming up with, but we still have, I think, 3 more things to do from his ideas. So it's really I haven't had to create on my own per se like that. But when I went through the notes and the texts, there was some sad stuff. Remember, I said I didn't believe in the brand. I wasn't supportive, and he was actually gonna switch the brand's whole identity. So obviously, the logos of the two wolves, the two wolves basically represent us. So our slogan is "There's no good without the bad," and it really was just "There's no him without me." As twins, we always get asked who's the good twin, who's the bad twin, and he just created this thing, and it went well. Like, yeah, there's no good without the bad. There's no him without me.
So so this was the logo he created.
This is the logo he created.
He had you in mind the whole
The
time.
entire time.
Wow.
The entire time.
Look at that.
I had nothing to do with anything. He planned it from start to finish. Everything today with hybrids is him. It's not me, it's him. So the only thing that it does break my heart is when I wasn't as supportive, he spoke to a few friends about rebranding. So getting rid of the two wolves and making one wolf. And he's like, I'm just gonna call it the lone wolf. And it's specifically in his text.
I feel shivers just hearing that.
Yeah, specifically in his texts, he said, I just don't feel like Omar wants to be a part of it, doesn't want to be supportive, and it just sucks, so I might as well do this by myself. The irony behind that is that concept that he had, I'm now the lone wolf.
Wow.
And that's when I knew, like, you just have to really take a step back and see things and be like, yo, this is just God's plan.
Yeah.
because literally set up the brand and then set up my identity after he was gone. So he was gonna rebrand and call himself Wolf, and then I just took the name. Said if this is what was gonna happen, and he felt he was alone, and now I'm alone, I
Mm.
might as well just follow this to the T. So we actually do have a part of the brand coming out a little later, in the year called like the Lone Wolf, and it just represents it's a full wolf but split in half with the good and the bad, so the white and the black.
Wow.
Basically explaining that the good and the bad is now me inside, and that's how my fights go every day. Like, we wake up and we make a decision to be good and to have good actions and good thoughts.
Mm.
And not every day we're gonna wake up like that. Like, some people wake up and let their bad thoughts get the best of them.
Yeah.
The reason why when I talk to the kids, I always ask, like, if I asked you right now, which wolf is the good one, which wolf is the bad one, what would you say naturally?
The black one.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in the schools, we teach everyone that for hybrid garbs, the black wolf is actually the good wolf, and the white wolf is a bad wolf. There's a few reasons why, but right off the bat, we got to stop attaching the color black to bad, because then
Mm.
people extend that to the color of our skins, and they say, "Oh, black
Wow.
people are bad people," or "Black boys are bad boys." So we try to switch that. The second thing is bad times are actually very much so good times in disguise. None of
Wow.
us
Hold on.
grow.
Say that one more time.
Yeah, let me look at the camera here.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad times are very much so good times in disguise, because none of us grow in good times. They say, we have this saying in the army, like, good times make weak men, and times of war make strong men. When you're good, you don't have to grow. You don't have to worry about nothing. You're sitting at home, much like how Omar used to be, just very relaxed, doing nothing. There's nothing to challenge you to be a better person. In sports, you haven't lost a game yet. You're not gonna grow. No one's beating you.
Right.
How are you gonna grow?
Right.
You're in a room full of people. You're the best in the room. You're never gonna break that ceiling because there's nobody challenging you at being the best. So you need the bad times. You need all the bad experience to grow. So in reverse, those are the times I'm trying to be at. I'm trying to be at those bad times where I have to grow. And the good times, you don't really go. So we change the perspective. Our slogan specifically, when it's written out, it says the good and the bad. The good is upside down, because good is a matter of perspective. A lot of, some countries or some states in the US, marijuana is still not legal, but some have it legal. So who's right, who's wrong here?
Right.
It's a
Some people are still in jail.
and some people are still in jail. So it really is a matter of perspective. So I wanted people to know, like, when we talk about the good, which we put in black, and the bad, which we put in white, I want people to know, like, that this is all perspective. Nobody can tell you indefinitely what is good and what is bad. Laws have changed over the years so much that contradict the idea of good and bad. So the brand itself, now we've stepped away from it being about us personally to there's no good without the bad in life in general. So people can understand, when you're an entrepreneur, when you're creating, you're gonna have bad days, and you need those days to get to the good point. So you can't have the good without the bad, and that's basically the whole yin yang story. And we just attached it with the wolves, and people believe in it, and it's the brand now itself represents mental health because of everything I've gone through, the perseverance I've shown, and the bad I've been through. Now we're kind of touching.
And I like that you segue into that, because that was going to be my next sort of like direction. Like, what does mental health mean to you?
You know what? I try to, so in the army right now, my role is recruiting and teaching, and I tell people all the time, like, mental health is more important than physical health, because your mind will take you where your body doesn't think it can go.
Mm.
And if your mind's not trying to go there, your body will not go there. So we have guys that can bang out 100 push-ups on the spot. We have guys that can only bang out 97. But the difference isn't physical. It's just mental. They've reached in and like, oh, I can't. First of all, stop telling yourself that. Let's speak positive. And then when we coach them through it right there on the spot, these guys are going from 97 to 100.
Wow.
Just on the conversation piece of it. Something a little bit more similar is, yeah, like, I can get mad today and convince myself that revenge is what I should be doing right now. Like, I can sit here in the room, I can intentionally play some kind of gangster movie and listen to some kind of music that's gonna get me in the space, let's say Lil Durk, King Von, and I will convince myself mentally that no, I should be going out there and killing people for what happened to me. That is just a mental conversation with yourself.
Easily.
And it's a very easy
Easily.
conversation.
Yeah.
You will convince yourself of everything. Women do it quite a bit with, like, relationships. They convince themselves of anything. It happens. Stay tuned with it. Stay with me. Stay with me. It happens. The emotional intelligence part is all that matters, and I've seen it every day where I'm on the cusp of giving up, and I'm convincing myself, "Oh, this isn't gonna work. This is gonna work." And 2 days later, God reminds me to be still and firm in what I have for you.
Wow.
And it's just that mental part of, we call it in the army, stop thinking, stop your thoughts. As soon as you get back, stop it. Then retract, read a book, open something up that's going to bring you back to that point of like resilience. And that's all it is. So when I speak, I always tell people like this physical stuff, cool. I've seen big guys make emotionally bad decisions
Yeah.
because they're not emotionally stable. A lot of men nowadays, especially black men, are in that space where somebody disrespected you and you didn't have that just mental and emotional intelligence or mental capacity to not react, to not do something. Like someone said, yo, just like your mom or something. Yeah, I get it. I get it. But like, are we gonna shoot someone over that? Like this
Yeah.
is where like we have to have self-talk conversations with ourselves. Like, don't get tricked out of your own spot. Like there are people there that are their sole goal is to make sure you don't achieve what God wants you to achieve. Because they've already given up on themselves. They've already
Yes.
doubted themselves, they've already put themselves to the side. And now their fear is someone else is gonna do what they wanted to do. And now they're like, no, this basketball player, I didn't, you can't go pro because it's not gonna happen because statistics, statistics is with you. That's your stats.
Right.
My stats a little different because the way my mind is set up is different than when your mind is set up. When I first started this place, there are people that tell me, no, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You're not gonna be at that spot. It's rent, all this, that. God willing, we still been here. Yeah, there's hard times, but if I had listened to those people, I got my speaking opportunities in the schools because I had the shop.
Mm.
I couldn't have done one without the other. They said,
Right.
hey, do you have a space that we can bring kids to kind of hear you speak and stuff? I had a space to do that. Then the teachers came here once. They said, oh, whoa, you got to come to the schools. So that wouldn't have happened. And if I let those people discourage me, I wouldn't have had none of this. So
Wow.
it's even crazy because I sit back and I'm like telling people, yeah, I was the discourager. I
I know,
literally
that's all I
discouraged.
was thinking. I
I
was
literally
thinking.
discouraged my brother the entire time.
So what lesson have you now learned? Because now it's kind of like flipped.
1,000%.
So what lesson have you learned, or what would you tell someone like? Yeah, what have you learned?
You know what? I think there's a conversation to be had about reality and then dreams and goals. Like there are certain realities. Like at 33 in October, relax. 32. I'm not gonna wake up tomorrow and say I'm gonna be a professional NBA player.
Right.
There are things that we have to have conversations about. Like, yeah, okay, that's probably not gonna happen. But I don't ever speak like that. I just will let people answer their own questions. You want to be a professional basketball player. Okay, so what's your schedule like? What do you do? Tell me what you do. I'll let you you'll tell yourself you're not gonna be I'll show you. Kids are waking up, yeah, I want to be an NBA player. All right, so when do you train? Oh, when the team trains. Oh, that's crazy. Because if you train the same time the team trains, then how do you get better than the team? Oh, I'll train, but when do you train? I wake up at like 10 o'clock. So you're already, you ever watch Kobe? Kobe's
We
documentary?
talking practice
Like,
too.
like there's certain things where if you're not doing the things that that are going to end up being what you want to be, then you're telling me yourself you don't want to be what you want to be.
Right.
Like, I don't need to tell you you're not going to make it. You're telling yourself you're not waking up at 6. You're not in the gym. You're going to the team practice and not doing any practice outside of that.
You're showing up late.
You're showing up late. You're not doing well in school, which
Right.
also cuts your chances of going to NBA because you can't go to a Division I school. I don't need to say anything. We gonna have a conversation in 3 years. I
always tell people I'm gonna see you in 5 years.
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna
don't
see it.
now. I know, and the people who know me, I used to be trying to like tell everybody stuff like, nah, like trying to almost save people. Bro, people are gonna do what they're gonna do. So
Yes.
all I can say is, hey, I think you should do this, or I think you can do this a little better to help them, but I don't kill dreams anymore. And I also don't like to tell people if they can or cannot do something. You know what you can do. Your actions will show. And in 2 years, if you haven't felt that growth or that excitement to keep going forward, then you have to have that conversation with yourself, which is
Yes.
the hardest conversation to have.
Yes.
Because when you haven't succeeded, only you can blame you. And you might point fingers at parents and all these other things, but you know it's you, and that cuts worse than anything. So what I've learned now is be more. I feed more into people. If they believe in something, shoot, I believe in it too. I mean, you said you want to be this, and you said you're doing everything you need to do, so I believe you.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't happen, we could talk about why it didn't happen. But if it's really close to me, then I'll tell friends like, listen, I'm with you. I don't believe it's possible, but I can tell you what it will become 100% not possible if you don't do these things.
Yeah.
Like train, like eat properly, and then they have conversations with themselves, and it's always a thank you so much for talking to me about it. With the kids in particular, we just get straight to the facts. If you're not shooting a certain percentage in a game, but then you're going home and not practicing. If you missed all your free throws in the game and you're not in the gym right after hitting free throws, you're not going to be a pro. You got
Wow.
to watch Messi. You got to watch Ronaldo. You got to watch
Gotta
Kobe. You got
study
to
the
watch
greats.
LeBron and see what they did. See how much it hurt them to not achieve a goal. Like when we make a release for hybrids and we don't sell a certain amount of t-shirts or sweaters, I genuinely get sad.
Yeah.
And I go to the shop the next day. Why did this happen? How did this happen? Where could I do better? Before I start blaming the marketing team and stuff, like how could I
Did I communicate that right?
Yeah. Before I start blaming people, did I say something? You know, and I think that's the biggest part is the accountability piece.
Yes.
I learned that very quickly, particularly with my brother's situation. Like, what could we have done better? And why are we in the situation we're in? Because you got to be mindful of your part in the chaos around you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people will point fingers and blame people for stuff, but what did you do in this chaotic event?
Oh, I was nothing. I didn't do anything.
Relationships are the best place. You know, everybody's pointing fingers, but like, what did you do that created even a speck of the other person reacting or feeling the way they felt, right? Or you falling short of your goals. Like, I woke up today at, I think it was like 9 o'clock, and I told myself I wanted to come earlier to do work before you got here. The work didn't get done, but it wasn't Duke's fault why I didn't get it done. We had said 12, but I told myself I was going to come at 9. I came at 10. The hour cut short. I didn't get the work done. Now we probably got customers calling me. Now I got to explain to them why it's not done. That's no one's fault but mine.
Right.
And that's where you got to really sit and like hold account. And it's tough because there's times where I don't want to be accountable. I want to blame everybody. It's easier that way.
It's easier to blame everybody.
Yeah. The customer calls. They say, why wasn't ready? Yo, Duke came.
Yo, Duke came, set up all the cameras.
Duke came, set up the
had
cameras.
a crazy conversation.
Yeah. It was too good. We should have finished a long time ago. Yo,
and here we are 2 hours later.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, the best thing about being in the Army is you learn that learning is a constant thing. And I think that's the biggest advice I can give anyone. You're never too old to learn. You're never too sick to learn. You're never too professional to learn. You're never too much of an expert because technology is humbling all of us.
Ooh.
This thing is changing every day.
Yes.
ChatGPT alone has showed, oh my gosh, those who thought they could operate without using computers, well, you will fail.
Yeah.
Like, you will not, unless you get someone who can underneath you, cool. But if 2024, I think the hardest thing is for our group of people is we have to now learn all this new technology coming out that the kids actually know. Like,
oh, they know that at the back of their hand.
Yeah, they know it, and we're there like, yo, show me how you do that zoom in thing, like, and it's tough because now we gotta humble ourselves.
Yeah,
we gotta go back to Google or go back to YouTube and search stuff and be like, how do I do this?
Yeah,
and now take time out of your day to study that. So,
wow,
I'm just trying to be someone who's constantly learning. I want to hear the negative things that people say about me.
Yes,
because I do believe there has to be something right in there. Not everything everybody says is right, but I mean, people don't generally pull things out of their ass. You might have done something that they felt was selfish.
Right.
They felt was rude. And if someone has said, like, when people say bad things about me, I'm like, yo, like,
tell me more.
Tell me. So, like, one, I might box you, but tell me, like, you know, like,
I'm the same way.
I need to know just so I can learn. I'll hit you, but I still gonna learn from it. Like, you know, so I tell people all the time, like, one of the biggest things is the passive aggressive thing. I don't do that. I don't play that stuff. If we have an issue, you need to tell me because I might not even know.
Right.
And I think that's the thing people have to understand. Some people actually don't know right from wrong, or the common sense is not so common anymore. People have disrespected you. They actually might just be that person. And you have to have a conversation like, yo, I don't like what you did here. I think what the problem is now, everyone's like telling 6 people before they tell the person they have a problem.
Yep.
I'm not hearing you have a problem with me from this person.
Yeah.
And I try to lead with that directness, and you know, some people might find it a little aggressive, but no, if we have an issue or I feel away, we need to speak about it.
But that talks to communication. How important is communication? You know, a lot of people like can't. The biggest thing too, and we're gonna get more into the mental health piece of it, is a lot of people can't identify their feelings. And how to communicate that feeling so that they can be understood, because a lot of their feelings can come out in a rage. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm gonna. The other day I was driving to park my car. I got a Tesla, so I went to park in a parking station to charge my Tesla. There was a nice Lambo going in itself, you know, but he parked in the area. I'm like, yo, bro. Is that a EV?
Yeah.
He's like, yo, fam, yo, I got the handicap parking. It's a handicap space too. I'm like, brother, no, it's not. And he's like, he's giving me attitude, and I'm like, I'm just watching him because he's there with his girl, so you know you kind of feel a little strength. So I'm like, okay, let me just, bro, are you serious? It's a EV, and he's trying to go back and forth with me. So he comes out of his car now. I came out of my car, puffing up his chest on me. He's like, yo, bro, back up. You know who I am? This is, and it can easily turn. So
100%.
thank God for me and my sort of like healing, because a man would have got box at the end of the day. So, but I'm like, brother, I'm not trying to start any problems with you. I'm just trying to charge my car. You got a nice Lambo chilling. So now he drives up out of the space to look because there's a sign on the ground, and he sees that it's an EV. So now he comes to me, yo, bro, like you didn't have to swear at me and da 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 da. I'm like, brother, what did I say? He's like, I don't know. Da 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 da.
He just heard it a certain way.
Whatever he's processing, he couldn't articulate the feeling of being wrong and of making statements, false statements. So he just ended up leaving. So the thing is, sometimes, like what I'm realizing is, communication plays a big part in how we understand each other. And if we don't do the work, the self-work.
1,000%. The humbling efforts and stuff. I think I've always said this, for one, traveling is the biggest perspective gainer. That's the first part.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer that the army, because, you know, in certain countries, it's mandatory. I think the army should be mandatory in every country for a year, only because I can't stand when anybody says to your mouth, do you know who I am?
Yeah,
because
brother.
Listen, I've been in the army a long time. You'll understand real quick, bullets fly both ways. And like, the person killing you will be the scrawniest little shit that you probably could beat up in person, but it's humbling knowing like your life can get taken by anybody.
Yeah.
By anybody. Like anybody can take your life. So to say, you know, do you know who I am? That's
a trigger.
Super trigger for me. I would have reacted differently for sure, and then it would have been a situation like I can't stand that, especially when you actually don't know who they are.
Right.
Like I actually don't know who you are.
Yeah, I don't. Who might pull you on billboard?
And now that we're older, we know Lambos can be rented, so that the place.
Right.
It's like I don't care about any of that stuff. So, but I do appreciate how you reacted to it, and it's important that we do that because again, that guy could be a nobody and you are a somebody, and now you've been tricked out of your position just because his ignorance or his lack of emotional intelligence.
I stooped down to his level.
And this is all it's about. When we talk about the mental health game, I don't even like to use the word mental health. It's literally mental wellness. It's literally like, yo, just train your mind so it's stronger than someone else's mind. That's all it is. Like, so you want to be stronger than someone else physically, you train your body to do so. So make sure you're feeding your mind the same type of energy you're feeding your body so that you can be better mentally than someone else. So people don't outsmart you. People don't out-trick you, outmaneuver you. That's a mental thing. That's not a physical thing. You almost got outmaneuvered because a man said, yo, do you know who I am? And your mind had to quickly like, yo,
bro.
Okay.
I went back to my girlfriend and I am like, I am heated right now. I was being tested that day too.
Yeah, and you know, he's not even realizing, you know, as a man, our job is also to protect the people around us. And him being with his woman, he doesn't realize this can go south. And now you put her in a situation as well.
Bro, in my mind, bro, the way my mind was wanting, I'm like, yo, don't let me take this Lambo right now, right?
100%. Like, there's so much things I was like, yo, bro, you have no idea. Like, and people like, I mean, when I'm talking to the team, like something serious will come up, and I'll just get into that voice of, you have no idea, like. You just have no idea that this can end right now. And I talk that way and people get annoyed, but I'm more like, if I don't talk like this, you're going to hear a different tone, and now you're going to get defensive, and I'm going to double down on it.
Right.
I'm just speaking like this so that there's a little laughter going on, and, you know, some people take it the wrong way, but the mental part is extremely important. And I think I know with the Black community especially, it's just emotional intelligence that has us defeated. We're letting words bother us more than we need to. Or people on Instagram stunting, and, you know, I mean, it is disrespectful to put people in songs. That's crazy, this energy nowadays of singing on dead people, but it's all words. You have to build your mind to hear it and say, yo, you know what?
So what are you now like doing? Because I see you doing stuff in the mental health space. So like, how did that start, and like what is your vision there for?
So how it started was mental balance came from hybrid Garbs. So the logo is half wolf, half man, and it's basically speaking on the fact that sometimes I can't control the feelings I have, like that animal instinct. Like I can't control it. That's part of me, and those be part of all of us. Our natural first instinct is actually much like the animals. Like, I want to react. I don't want to think. I just want to react, and that's what separates us from the animals, is the fact that we can think.
Right.
So now I put the other side, which is really Omar. So it's half wolf, and then Omar, because then my other half clicks in to balance us out. Those thoughts are there, but Omar keeps them at bay with just the mental balance of all. So that's why I call it mental balance, because it's not like we're gonna wake up and not have bad thoughts. But I want to kill people every day. Like, to this day, I still want to kill people. Like,
Right.
but I'm a grown man now, and I can say, you know what, like, this, that, and I talk myself out of it very, very easily. So that's why that came about. And now on the social media part, one day I just went on Instagram and I spoke like we're speaking right now, but I spoke to the camera, said some things, and everybody was just like, yo, I feel that way too. Men were, and girls always do that. Oh my God, thank you for sharing. I love it. Okay, cool. But when men DM you,
Yeah,
they're
that's
like,
real.
yo,
That's a different. That's
like, I
different.
was thinking about this, and oh, God, you saved my life and someone else's life. And keep posting, because I'm dealing with the same thing right now. And I'm gonna show my cousins. So I really started posting that stuff for guys, for dudes who go through it, who don't want to see a therapist, who can't afford a therapist.
Right.
Everyone's like, seek help, seek help. Bro, that's like seeking a lawyer. This is not cheap.
It's
Like,
not cheap.
you have to pay for that, and that's another bill on top of the bills that we all already have, and
inflation.
and inflation. We're all
Come
broke. Yeah,
on.
I'm gonna listen to music instead of my mental health. So I just created a space where on any given day, I'll speak about how I feel, and if you relate to it, you relate to it. If you don't, you don't. And then now we have a gala. So last year's our first gala. It's called, last year we called it A Harmony Within. So it was basically the idea of creating a space where we can be one with ourselves, with our good stuff and our bad stuff. So I wanted to create that, again, that harmony, that mental balance of like, I have good times, good character traits, and bad ones, but it's all still me.
Right.
And it was a huge success last year. We had like 450 people out. I never thought a day in my life I'd be able to do that. It was crazy. And that was the first time I had been speaking for a while. And that was the first time my parents heard me speak.
Wow.
So they came, first time that we told the story in front of them. So there was a lot of emotion in the room. And it blew up. So now we're having our second. And this year we decided to call it A Room Full of Mirrors. And the idea is the reflection of self. So now that we have this harmony within, the thing about having that harmony.
They're gonna have mirrors there?
Yeah, we're gonna have mirrors.
Oh, that's already lit.
Yeah. So the idea is that on any given day, you can look in the mirror and see a different version of yourself. And there's a few factors that will determine that. Something simple like music. If I wake up and I'm listening to Lil Durk and King Von, you're gonna get that energy for the day.
Right.
My mom said this growing up, shit in, shit out. So what you feed yourself in the morning, and that's not just food, will dictate how your day goes. So she made it a habit for us to listen to like Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, good energy vibe stuff that can put you in a good space. And I notice whenever I drive my car and I'm going to work and I listen to certain songs, the first few hours of the day will be, depending on that song, will be that kind of energy. So now, buddy, like, I'm in the cars listening to all types of R&B and good vibes and good energy. And even when I come in here, I tell people all the time, you will come in here and see Disney movies playing, just because of the energy and nostalgia it gives me and the calmness to it. Like, I'll play Toy Story and Lion King in the background just to be in that space. We put on power and stuff. First of all, we're not doing no work. Second of all, we're now in that space, in that state of mind. I'm like, yeah, Tariq shouldn't have done that. He should have just mocked him. And people don't realize, especially again the Black community, like it does fuck with us. Like, all that stuff we're feeding, it only breeds one thing. Like, the biggest shows in the Black community, like if you watch like Baddies Club and stuff like that, all the girls are watching Baddies Club.
It's all toxic.
Buddy, they start actually living like this. They start actually believing that.
Hey, you ain't taking me to no Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah. And you don't see it till you see it, and you're like, hold on, where did you get this from? Like, how did you learn to be this person? And it's the TV shows we're watching. I'm a huge fan of, Star Wars and Harry Potter and all that stuff. And I tell people all the time, you watch that stuff, you will think magically.
Yes.
You'll think creatively. You have to feed your mind to believe in things that aren't normal to believe in. Because, the work we do, you have to be a little crazy to do this work. Because people will look at us and be like, well, why are you trying to interview 100 people for?
Right.
What do you think you're going to gain out of that? And you have a vision, you know what's going to come from that. But the average person can't see past their feet. So they're just there like, this doesn't make sense. Why is he doing it? And to an extent, yeah, we are a little crazy. Because what do you mean I'm here sitting down doing a podcast that like wasn't like a paid thing, or we're just talking to, hopefully someone there sees us.
Yes.
And now they either want to join or they want to connect with us because we're just bouncing great ideas and energy. and we're creating a like-minded environment for
Right.
people to join this creative space. But you have to be psychotic to think that people care. Like in this world where people don't care, you have to be crazy to put your feelings. Like podcasts rub me a little the wrong way only because I'm now being vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
People have room to comment. People have room to go on this and say, it was all right, but his brother deserved it or some type of shit.
Yeah.
And I have to be okay with that from a mental standpoint. So the gala really gives us that opportunity to show that it's not just me. Like there are hundreds of men that'll step into this space and agree with what I'm saying and want to tell their own story as well.
Mm.
So I've been very, very fortunate to know so many people from East, West, North, and South. And in the gala, they come out and we share just a moment in space where um, it's not the traditional therapeutic, let me go to a
Right.
therapist, but it's the indirect. And I would say that our organization is the gateway to seeing a therapist. Because like I was telling you, like, nobody's going to, I want to go see a therapist. It's just not, especially, the definition of a black man right now won't really do that. But when we create spaces like this where they get the normality of speaking, then they're like, yeah, you know what? I need to see a therapist. Like,
Yeah.
I should go talk
Oh,
to
it
him.
helped you? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And then, how'd you get this way? Yo, I did this, but then I saw a therapist.
Right.
So you almost indirectly push them into the therapist anyways,
Yeah.
without saying, yo, go see a therapist. Go. And because, most people aren't going to do what you tell them to do because nobody wants to do it. Like, I don't want no one to tell me what to do.
Right.
So naturally, we're going to revert to that. But
Right.
if I indirectly show you what therapy has done to this group of men, you will look for the same results. If I'm rich and I tell you how I got rich, you're going to want to do what I
Right.
did to get rich. So if I'm at a place of peace and you're like, yo, how are you so calm? And I say, yeah, I did this and did that, you're now going to explore that as well. So I say, yeah, I did this, but then I went to see a therapist just to be 10 times better. And that's where the gallery is at. And the idea of, we have an award, a particular award that's called the Mental Balance Man of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to nominate our good friend Duke for the Mental Balance,
I'm just saying.
It's easy process, and we'll tell you after. But it's an award that we actually want to glorify men doing dope stuff, because I think right now the entertainers, the rappers, and all this stuff are doing a great job making that stuff seem cool, without telling the full story of how to get to that point. And we need to balance it out. We need to see, it's cool to be a teacher, it's
Right.
cool to be a doctor, it's cool to be a lawyer, and they actually do all these cool things as well. Because the only thing is, most of the people actually making the money don't care to
Talk about it.
talk about it. But we need you good people to talk about it, because now we got the people who are making money here and there acting like
talking
the loudest,
crazy.
talking crazy, and these kids follow that.
Yeah.
So I'm not knocking this life, because we've been there, we've seen it, but we need to balance it out.
Yeah.
Just like right now, today, I think the thing that's missing the most in life is R&B. I think these kids don't have soul music like we had soul music. We had 50 Cent and NWA and all these guys, but we then had Lauryn Hill, we had Trey Songz and Chris Brown when they were Trey Songz and Chris Brown. Not today's Trey Songz and Chris Brown. And we had people, we all wanted to be.
We had a Jagged Edge and the True Hills.
Yeah. We wanted to be good guys singing to women.
Yeah.
Instead of nowadays, you see men just
throwing women around.
Like,
yeah,
let's make gang music and stuff. Which, yeah, buddy, I get it, I love it. But let's get back to the balance of like being a thug in a relationship, or being, when Ja Rule was popping before 50 Cent destroyed him, that kind of stuff, right? I'm a huge 50 fan. Sorry, Rule, but like, yeah. So that's where we're at, and it's going amazing right now.
So, like, if you were to sit down and think about it, what would your brother think about you right now in this moment?
That's a crazy question. There's been so many times where I think, and a lot of my decision making is very much so guided by what he thinks. And this is the hardest thing about being who Omar was naturally. I was very much so seeking his approval. I was very much so like wanting to be cool, like he's cool. And if he said it wasn't cool, I didn't think it was cool. If he said I wasn't cool, I thought, oh, damn, I'm not cool. And his opinion did really affect me heavy. Like, people know, they know. So even today, when I'm making certain decisions with the brand, if I feel like if I even get the urge that he might not like it, we're not doing it. A lot of times now, times where I don't want to address certain issues with people, I'll hear him saying, "Nah, don't be a sucker. Go talk to that guy right
Mm.
now." And sometimes it's not the best advice. My brother wasn't smarter than me, so like it's not the best advice. But I'm finding myself always thinking about how he'd feel, how he'd do things. And honestly, right now I can confidently say the man would be proud. Like we could have I could have left hybrid Garbs when he died and said, "Yo, that's it. It's done." And worried about myself and, join the army a little bit more aggressively, put more my time of it and been a 9 to 5 and called it a day. But I took something that he started and blew it to a point where he would have wanted it to go. And now we're doing more and more. We're changing lives. I think that's the biggest part. So I don't even question it. I know he's proud. I know he's super happy. The only thing I question is when I should be reacting to certain things and I don't, or if I let people take me for idiot and I don't page it, I feel like he gets mad at me.
Mm.
He will call me a sucker or like he'll convince you like, nah, don't be lame like those guys. Like address it and stand on it. So that's when and like I'll just tell people like if you deal with that and version of me, it's not me, it's him. So just a little shift that blame real quick. But I definitely look after what he I definitely think about what he thinks all the time, every day. Every day
Mhm.
it's we're designing something, nah, he not gonna like that. We can't do it. And I honestly what I'm trying to get back to now is what do I like? Like
Right.
that's where I
Mm.
said to you in the beginning why I'm so happy getting back to being Omar.
Right.
And I love Wolf. I love the identity of it. I love everything. But I'm getting back to being Omar because too much of my time was like, well, what would my brother think? Or how would he feel? And when that man was alive, I never thought like that. So the hell am I doing now, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay to have that appreciation for what he thinks, but bro, I'm me and I have to do what Omar wants to do for himself. And that's one of the hardest things to kind of jump over for me because I want to respect him as much as I can and honor him. And I think that when I do things how he would do them, that's my version of it. But I lose myself at the same time. So now I'm like really finding that balance between Wolf and Omar and making sure that Omar is actually leading that driving that car because Wolf is an identity that's creative, but it is a version of me, but it's not me. Like Omar is who I am to the T. And I don't like showing everybody Omar. I don't think everybody deserves Omar like that, but it is who I am, and I'm trying to get back to that point where it's not just Jamar leading the decision making, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. Yeah. So
Yeah.
and it's a lot, and just even saying it aloud is a reminder. Like shit, this is a lot.
Yeah.
Like people forget this. Even the gala, like it's October 19th, so it's coming up, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's gonna be great." But I had to have these conversations about how we're gonna talk about why we did the gala. It's also a birthday celebration. My birthday's October 17th, so we're gonna do like the cutting cake there. I had to prepare myself for that emotions that's gonna be brought out then, and everyone thinks it's fun. For me, I don't if I could, I would never have a gala because
Yeah.
I would choose to have my brother back. So I
Mhm.
wouldn't have a gala, I wouldn't have a Creators World, I wouldn't be doing this hybrid garb stuff if I could just have him back. So there's that bad side to doing all these amazing things because you'll come in, I'm like, yo, how did you get to this point? Like, God dang, if you only knew like this shit right here. And then people are like, yeah, you must be so proud. Yeah, yeah, I guess. I don't know why God had to do all this for me to get
Right.
to this point, but
Yeah.
it's day by day, man. And this is why feeding yourself your mentals is so important. Because if you have this kind of thought process, you will convince yourself that, mm, yeah, it's time. And people will try you. Every day I get tried indirectly, directly, sneak dissing, all that stuff. And just, yo, I can't be moved. And I take pride in that. Like, unless you at me, unless you come to my face and say something, it's not
Yo,
for me.
don't at Omar,
Yeah, yeah.
huh?
If you at me, like this is where things become a problem because like I will pull up, and it's tough because you want to be like so in a space where you're not letting things bother you, but then there's that balance of like, what is your line?
Yeah.
Like, what is the line that is not movable? Like, where am I drawing the line? For me, it's like when no one has added me or said I'm talking to you, so all right, you guys talking to yourself.
Right.
But the line is, yo, if someone says it direct and calls my name, then we have a conversation because your name is everything. Like Duke could only be here because Duke's name was good and people spoke on Duke. I can't. There's certain things that I'm not willing to take, and every man has to have his own line. It's where the mental balance is different for everybody. Your balance, this scale can be like this, and that's balance for you,
Right.
and it could be this, and that's balance for some, and it could be this. Because remember, it's about the weight. Like it might be 80% here, 20% here, but your energy towards that is on the 20 side, so it bounces on your mind. You don't need to be 80% bad. Your 20% is enough, or vice versa. So I think understanding where you are as a person is very important. Like knowing yourself in your lane that alone will kill business first of all if you don't know yourself, because you'll fuck it up just by commuting with
Yeah.
people. And then obviously creating a line as a man, like what are you willing to take as a man? I think what we're missing nowadays is the kids that are okay being superheroes without capes, like standing up to bullies,
Yeah.
doing the right thing, because it's not cool to do the right thing. But what is your line? If I see someone getting bullied, yeah, I'm involved. Like, why are we bullying this person? But a lot of people first take out their phones and stuff. What is your line as a man? The biggest question for men is, if you see another man hitting a woman on road, are you getting involved? And a lot of people stumble on that because it's like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
there's a part of that where you want to mind your business. You
Right.
don't know what happened, and he could kill you. So like, you don't know, because I remember seeing a video on YouTube. This guy was yelling at this girl, beating her up, and she was running away. Bear, the guy recording was a guy. It was like the person recording was a guy, and so many people were watching. She finally like had enough, slapped him, hit him back. He took out a gun and shot her in the head. And you're thinking that went on for like 5 minutes. So at some point, somebody could have came and said, "Yo,
Yeah.
just chill, my guy." And nobody wanted to do that because the world is so. Right now, we're moving in a space of, I forget who posted it, but it's the idea of everybody's so for self now. Like the economy has created it so that you got to be for self. Social media created we're for self. People will DM me and ask me to do something for them before they think about what they could have done for me. And I don't
Right.
even know these people. So we're just so selfish nowadays. And I want to get back to that point where you as a man see something going wrong and as your beliefs, and you defend it. And even if you're with your girlfriend understands who you are as a man, and that the ultimate man would defend another woman getting attacked by another man.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get back to that space, not that particular incident. Like, yeah, it's pick and choose because you could get killed, but that's my line. I can't be around that stuff. All of my friends in life do not hit your girl around me, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have something to say, and we're gonna talk about it, because the real man should be able to take the woman's words, as bad as they are, her little slaps, and walk away.
Right.
You're a big man for that. You don't. We're not hitting women out here.
Right.
But that again, everybody has to ask themselves who they want to be. I know I want to be Omar, so I'm not, and I don't even care to be a bad man. I don't care. Like, I know what I can do to you, so I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a bad man. I'll tell you. You're a bad one. All right, General.
Yeah.
You're the general. You call the shots, right? So it's about just being confident in the space you're in, and that's what mental balance really is about. Just I feel like the world is trying to silence the strong black male, because to me we are the strongest being. So if they silence us, then they win everything else. Nah, bro, we got to get back to what it is to be a man. And I'm not saying that the world doesn't need any more gay people or things like whoever's doing what they're doing, do what you're doing. But we have less strong black men there than ever. And we have to get back to even that out, because most men are in jail and stuff like that. Now, why do you think the young boys are growing up the way they're growing? Because there's an absence of the strong black men. And I say that particular one because there's not an absence necessarily of black men. Corporate events, they do it all the time. Oh, we got our one black person.
Yeah.
We got him.
Yeah,
And
you got your token.
and you look, there's a difference between Will Smith and Carlton. We know that. We know that growing up, the difference.
Yeah.
And not to say either is right or wrong, but there's more Carltons nowadays than there are Will Smiths. And we need the Will Smith. You can't have one and not the other. That's just a representation. And the world is okay. Oh, let's have all the Carltons because it's safe for them. But nah, bro, that's not how this works. Like, we need the Wills that balance and say, yo, this is wrong. We're not doing this. We're doing this, right? So
Yeah.
that's where we're at right now.
Brother, I love it. Thank you so much,
Man,
bro.
thank you for coming
For
by.
sitting down, and I've learned a lot about you, especially meeting you for the first time. You are everything that I seen, and I appreciate you, and I love what you're doing, and I'm glad we met, bro.
We're locked in, bro. It's gonna be a great time. I'm super thrilled to see where you take this. From the creative standpoint as well. Like I asked you about the company, there's so much opportunities for us to just continue to work together and build amazing things in the next 2-3 years. It should be turned around and we'll remember this. We'll be like, yo, damn, thank God I said yes, because I'm a millionaire because this man right
Come
here.
on,
You know what I'm saying?
come on.
So it'll be a space, and hopefully other people see this, and I know they will. They'll be inspired. Like, y'all, I need to be on Duke's thing, because it's a place where creativity breeds more creativity and opportunities arise from this, right? And then Adidas will be like, yo, you guys can't wear Adidas in the thing. Or
Come on, hey, we're just warming up.
But before, hold on, before we, I gotta do the homework.
Okay.
It's,
okay.
yeah, the
It's that time.
food. We're warming up. Well, we'll warm up after, but it's still a little warm. So I just wanted to
Jeez.
put, yeah, look at this. I just wanted to
Woo!
personally say, I gotta get to the camera
Come
close.
on, yeah,
Hey man, this episode
come on,
here
go
was
on this one here. Go on
sponsored.
this one. Go on this one right
This
here.
episode here is sponsored by Honey Soul Food. So
Come
thank you
on.
so much. It's a lobster
This looks
pasta and
jam.
stuff like that, buddy. There's shrimp, lobster, there's salmon.
Jeez.
You know, if you haven't been to Honey
Yo.
and you get their cornbread, it's like
Yo.
yeah, this is jam packed.
Come on, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, 100%. I wanted you to get the full experience and know how networking and stuff is.
Right. This is where it
She-
starts.
She done never dropped this for me, but
Yo,
she
we're
heard
putting
Duke is coming.
this logo's happening somewhere, so
Yes. You'll
this
get the
is how we're gonna
Instagram and
do it.
stuff there.
Oh, we're
but-
putting all of this. Oh,
Yeah.
this is beautiful. This looks like art.
yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
this looks like art.
This you're knocking out for sure. You're
Come
you're
on.
gonna knock out.
Oh, I
and be
appreciate it.
big. So yeah, that's that.
Brother, love, man. Like we're locked in, bro.
Appreciate
I'm so glad this
Appreciate you.
happened, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
man. And if you have time, this is your invite. They meant
oh, I'm there.
yeah, a little
I'm there.
masquerade
I'm
theme. It's gonna
there.
be
I'm
crazy.
there. I'm
It's gonna
there.
be dope, and you're gonna get reference now, so you should
Come
be
on.
there.
Yo, this
Yeah.
episode is dropping in promotion of this. This is what we're doing
Jeez.
right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
how we're
yeah.
gonna do it right now.
Yeah,
So
it'll be
we're
dope.
there.
It'll be dope, man. It's gonna be a great time.
Bro.
The show real quick. Hey,
Yeah.
you'll see soon, but you
there
know,
we
and it's a
go.
masquerade theme.
Come on.
Get your mascot. You know, like Bridgerton vibes, that kind of stuff.
Come
We'll be there,
on.
live and direct.
Yo, so there you have it. Another episode, another one. And I'm connecting the dots on this podcast, within this conversation. This is what Creative Connect is about. It's connecting creatives together, bringing like-minded individuals to share their story. Because a lot of the times creatives are behind the scenes doing the work and you just see the finished product. But what about them? So we're here to not just understand the why, the what, but also understand the how. How are you doing? And this is what we're here for. So thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time. Well, first of all, where can people find you?
Well, we got a couple Instagrams, but if you go to my personal Instagram, Wolf_the_Alpha, and you'll see all the business links right there. And you can follow us on our journey. And I say us because it really is us all together. The mental balance page is there. If you want to have a conversation, please DM us. If you have a great story, first of all, reach out to Duke, but tell us and we can definitely get it on the page as well.
Yeah.
And come out to the gala and see what it's about. And maybe you'll be the next mental balance man of the year.
Let's go.
So, yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Peace.
Take care.
Bro. I love
that was dope. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Pipe was good, eh? Yeah,
Oh,
you know.
man, I love this,
Little
bro.
professional.
Come on, yeah, man.